cause I hit the fan. Hey, tonight, it's alright.
No parties.
It's Friday. We're already dancing and grooving. The first party I'll go to, they will know that Mariah came. They will know that from the gate.
From the gate.
They will know that Mariah came.
You will represent.
I'm not greeted our viewers. It's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello.
Excellent morning.
I'm telling you, wallahi, please, once they open the gates for a party like this, please, somebody should invite me. Somebody must be 80, 90, those kind of parties.
Those that is just, you are just enjoying. There is full enjoyment.
Jesus Christ.
So
how you doing?
I was doing a post this morning like, oh, thank God it's Friday. And I was like, okay, so what's different? You know, like, for me, personally, there's no difference. I'll still work on Friday, I'll still work on Saturday, I'll still work on Sunday. So when I'm saying thank God it's Friday, it's like, for the people that are listening, what is it for them? It's become a cliche, and it just made me think of all the other things that has become cliche. How are you doing? Fine. Like, we're not really processing the questions. We're not really answering the questions. We're just... it is well.
Reflex.
Like, it's reflex. And many things in our lives have become reflex, habitual, that are not good for us. So I'm just reflecting on my habits that I need to improve. You know, this journey of change, it's a matter of daily pain. So every time, no, funny enough, I'm not even conscious of my eating habits. That's the least on my mind, Mariah. I'm not even dieting. There are many things going on in my head, but like...
You know, you said, I think there was a post you put on, like, I was trying to respond to, but I just never got around to it. I remember Pastor Ito told us that he has sold 5 Alive, he has sold spare parts, he has done plenty of businesses, that no matter what happens, put your hands in as much as you can. Yeah. At some point, you find out the one that sticks, and you stay on there. Yeah. So don't feel guilty that I'm doing ABCD. You can, if you have the power to do it, please do it.
If you have the capacity to go on, girl.
But if you don't, know early that I don't have this capacity, and step aside.
And
know yourself.
And don't feel bad that you're not doing.
Yeah.
Yes. Everybody sit on your lane.
Yeah, fantastic. Stay on your lane. Stay on your lane. So don't feel bad. You give
I like your neck piece.
Thank you.
How are you doing? So this is going to make news today because I'm going to get calls. This is your nose ring. You don't start. At least Mariam, we know she's from Jos. We understand that it's her culture. People are going to call me on your matter.
In my spirit, I'm a Hausa girl.
Okay, I don't hear.
In my spirit. I'm the one that does more lali.
That's true.
Mariam ever done lali here?
No, she hasn't.
I do lali all the time, you know.
No, but we're one Nigeria.
In the university, yes, people felt I was an Hausa girl because I was tall, tiny, dark.
Just tell them why you're wearing a nose ring today. I don't want people to calling my number.
Okay,
why are you wearing a nose ring?
It's fashionable for me, and as long as my husband is comfortable with it, I'm good.
My Oga, I know you are okay, so we're fine.
I'm good, but I have a shout out to me. 2 shout outs. All right. So Mr. and Mrs. Festus Rupe from Benin City. They are wishing their parents a 43rd wedding anniversary today.
Now, that's what's up.
Happy wedding. And this one, the oil is not, as in, it will just keep going fresh.
Now, these are the kind of people that's been preaching about marriage.
Yeah.
Parents, we need to talk to these kind of people.
We need to talk to them. It was through Nima, so I'm sure she will give us the contact.
Yeah,
then my uncle from Delta State, Austin Odiachi, will be 50 on Sunday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Cannot do party. Happy birthday, sir.
He will send the cake, I'm sure.
So wait, Nima sent you a shout out on her behalf when she's not on the show. Nima, we'll start charging you. I'm saying you're not on the show and you're sending
all the shout out must be done. Somebody will send me, I'll say, I'm not on the show, I'm sorry. But Nima will still send it in.
Please, when they send it to me, and I must tell, you know, I always forget that I have people on Facebook. There's so many places messages are coming in from. There's Instagram, there's Facebook, there's the Messenger, there's Twitter, so once in a while, I just get there.
And then you see,
he's like, I'm really disappointed I've not responded. I'm like, hey, I don't read these things. Some of them had birthday shout-outs. Wow. So please, whenever you have birthday shout-outs, one person I can guarantee is likely to, I will not forget his Nima.
Yes,
so please, tag her. She's likely to send to us or somebody. Me, I am a #1 forgetter. Yeah. I will not remember. Even my own birthday self, even though that I shared it with my mother, I will forget. My mother will be like, Mariah, happy birthday. Oh yeah, it's today, mommy. Happy birthday to you too.
No, but sometimes it's scary, Mariah. You would open your DM and see 100 something. I just closed it back. Where would I start from? Yes. And it's greeting. No, thank you. So, I love you too.
So celebrate well, Uncle. Have a nice celebration. More oil, more grace on your life.
Friday. So let's just see if I know what's going on in the papers.
Oh, you're still chilling now, no school. You're still chilling.
School.
Are you resting?
Yeah,
are you on holiday?
Until
October, she's on holiday.
The devil tried me yesterday. They sent me a message that we can't find your results. please, the test that I studied for, you better go and find out.
No, we have to find out results.
They're not coming. It's like, we never found it. And I'm like, God save me. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back. No, Gemma is going to be right back. Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Buhari okays community policing take off with 13 billion naira. ECOWAS asks Mali junta to reinstate Keita government. Oyo to approve paternity leave for real. Hey, this governor of Oyo State. Ministers, senators, reps, ex-governors behind illegal mining in Osun. Lawmakers, NDDC row over removal of the 10 billion naira rice project. Okay,
headline.
Okay, good. Let's start with the major headline. Go ahead.
So, our president, after a virtual meeting of the National Economic Council, chaired by the Vice President, Ibrahim Chibadu, agreed to, as approved, 13 billion naira to go to community policing. The meeting also involved the Nigerian Governors Forum, Governor Kayode Fayemi, and 2 other governors in the meeting. This is going to be shared across. The Minister for Finance and the NEC agreed that the excess crude oil account has enough money, and then the funds are going to come in from that place. And the National Resource Development Fund accounts for a whole lot of money too. So, point is, security within the communities will now be getting funding specifically, and this is what we've been clamoring for from way back. So we're going to now ask individuals to hold their leaders accountable on how this money is being spent. 13 billion naira is not small money. We should have a track record of what
Let's take another story. I was going to take the ECOWAS, but you can take Oyo very quickly.
Yes, okay. So the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Inclusion, Alhaja Fausat Sani, spoke at a 2-day workshop in Oyo State, and they have said that they're trying to increase the maternity leave of mothers from 4 months to 6 months to enable them have enough time to take care of their children, and as well as working to have paternity leave as well. So it's not just the mothers that will be taking care of the children, the fathers.
Let me take the ECOWAS story because our president has responded. So obviously we all know that all the various organizations, the UN, AU, ECOWAS, and all have slammed the Malian military for what happened, and they have insisted that they reinstate the president. But our president has spoken and said that the breach of the military can serve as regional, can be a setback for the regional diplomacy, and urge leaders of the sub-region to ensure that this protocol that was breached does not survive, and they must reinstate Keita with immediate effect. And obviously, all the leaders they've agreed to suspend economic dealings with Mali at this period.
In the minimum, they should have an interim system because we don't want this to spread.
Yes, please, it should not spread, I beg. Moving on to the Punch. Chinese loan probe, others stalled as reps suspend panel sittings. Workers' headless body found on company premises.
Huh?
Arotile, 2 suspects freed, driver to escape death. Killings, NBA bows to pressure, drops El Rufai from Confab. COVID-19 drug trial will begin in 13 states, says PTF. Kama, unacceptable, ungodly, a time bomb, says Khan. Okay, let's take a few stories there.
My interest?
Go ahead, please.
Okay, so the family of Kingsley Obot, who was a member of staff of Elan Star Marine, demanding investigation into the cause of his death. So his brother visited him at some point while he was working I think on the ship, and then realized that they told him that they couldn't find him. Probably he had gone to drink somewhere or he had gone home, and then he left, only for one of the co-workers to call the brother back to say that we just found a body in the water and come and see if maybe it's your brother. Only for him to get there, he found out that it was his brother and he was beheaded. So the company is saying that we have no hand in it. We don't know what happened. Probably he was drunk and fell into the water. And then but they did not explain how.
They need to call the police. They called the police, I'm sure.
Yes, investigations are ongoing now. The family, according to the story, they are demanding 150 million. The company is saying we don't have that amount of money. They are still going back and forth on the issue.
So okay, major headline Chinese.
Yes. So I read through the entire story to find the reason behind it, but the Honorable, the Majority Leader, Halassan Adodogoa, made the announcement that all hearings and all public, all committees would be suspended. The reason wasn't given, but you see, a few hearings have caused a lot of controversies. The Chinese loan hearing was one major one that caused controversies because they found that there was a sovereignty clause included in the loan agreement that says that we can lose the right over any property facility that is constructed by the Chinese government. Chinese will now own it in our land. So that was really controversial. The NDDC also controversial. DSTV also controversial. And the SERAP has spoken up concerning it that what exactly is going on. This investigation needs to continue. When they asked the chairman of some of these panels, they said he had no idea. Osai said he had no idea that...
On what they signed?
No. He had no idea that the suspension. And that he cannot speak to what he has no idea about.
Okay, so NBA has vowed to pressure. Many of you already know the story that NBA, they had invited the governor of Kaduna State to speak at the event coming up, and he obviously they got 3,000 lawyers,
3,400,
3,400 lawyers to sign a petition. Said they did not want him to speak at that event. Interestingly, because it reminded me of when the NBA actually had an event where they invited, I think it was the military governor at the time. My father insisted that, no, that invitation letter you sent him, tell him we don't want him again. It was very interesting. So it just reminded me of
this NBA information came through a tweet, and the tweet said that we would send him a notice. So I feel like it's a bit, we really need to do things officially. Send him a notice and let the tweet say, we've sent him a notice that he won't be speaking. But the reason for this is that because of the killings that have been taking place in southern Kaduna. Moving
on now to Daily Trust. Ripples over Kama as CAN rejects provisions. Buhari approves 13 billion naira for community policing. We talked about that already. I'm not desperate to be Edo governor, says Eze Yamo. Again, police rescue 55-year-old man from 30 years confinement. Conference NBA withdraws invitation to El Rufai. Arotile court charges suspect with culpable homicide. So that's, as you remember, Arotile, there were 3 suspects arrested, the driver and also the owner of the vehicle.
Please explain Arotile.
Arotile is the young lady who died, the
youngest pilot.
The youngest pilot in Nigeria that passed on. Very young lady that passed on recently. So the vehicle that actually killed her, the 3 people were arrested. So 3 suspects. One was the owner, the driver, and another person that was in the vehicle. So the owner and the other person have been allowed to let go. And then the driver now is facing culpable homicide. And that's the update on that story. And
I think I'll take the major story here.
Yes, please.
Yes, so the Christian Association of Nigeria has rejected CAMA. Saying that, which is the Company and Allied Matters Act, saying that it goes against what Christianity believes in. They are asking that the National Assembly, they take it back to their National Assembly so that they can expunge that section that gives control to the government. They are saying that the nature of Christianity, the way it has spiritual responsibilities, and you can't just, change the Board of Trustees for people who do not have that spiritual, is it a responsibility or inclination to handle such a serious
and
affair.
CSC has responded and saying that before CAMA was drawn up, there were 40 firms in Nigeria that participated, and 80 registrars internationally came together to agree on this document. So it wasn't something that somebody woke up in the morning and just changed. However, because these 40 firms are involved, that it's something that they can still discuss. But however, it's not something they wanted to make that clarity that they didn't wake up in the morning and just change that law. It's always been there, and it had a lot of participation from others.
They also mentioned that initially during the president's administration, they had a public hearing on a matter relating to this, and which the Christian Association of Nigeria rejected, and they took it back, this particular issue. So why are they bringing it back again without a public hearing?
We're going to make it a proper issue. I know we discussed it because our Bishop Oyedepo has responded. So we discussed it as a hot topic, but now we'll make it a proper topic. So we'll bring in the lawyers, some of the lawyers, we'll bring in some from CSC sometime next week, hopefully, to thrash this issue properly so we understand what the both parties are saying. Okay, let's move on to Daily Sun very quickly. Foreign arms suppliers to bandits arrested. Governors demand suspension of counterpart funds for UBE. 2023 presidency, Ohaneze Nwanyawu group seek support for younger Igbo. Russia-Nigeria business community strengthen economic ties. Okay, which story are we taking?
So the major headline, Operation Sahel Sanity deployed at forward operating base. The Defense Ministry, the Defense Headquarters has given us details that this particular operation were able to find ammunition with 3 foreigners, some of it including 6 AK-47, 3 AK-47 magazines, and 2,400 15 rounds of speed ammunition. So all of these were found with 3 foreigners, and he was saying that communities around where these crises are happening should observe that foreign activities, because the ammunitions are supplied by foreigners, and it would work with the cooperation of them to find them out. Right. But they did not mention the nationality specifically within this article in the Sun.
Ohanes Ndigbo, the youth
within this article in the Sun.
Ohanes Ndigbo, the youth wing of the Ohanes Ndigbo, is speaking up and saying that they want the youth to take over leadership in 2023, saying that the elderly ones have failed us, and across country in the Western world we have young people who are doing amazing at the helms of affairs. And they mentioned the fact that even in Nigeria, the first time that the president, our current president, was as a young man, Ojukwu was a young man when he was able to achieve many feats. So they have given, we need young men who are able to tackle the digital challenges that we face as a nation.
Leadership is not handed to you a la carte.
No, they are fighting for it, but they are saying that they want to put their hands together and bring a young man.
How many times the president come back? I think 3 times before he now finally became
president.
The first time he became president.
Yeah, he was a young man.
Okay,
in his 20s.
Unfortunately, we have to wrap up on paper review. When we return, we discuss and celebrate our Your View Hero of the Week. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So Your View Hero of the Week is none other than late Dr. Ameyo Adadevoh. Wednesday made it exactly 6 years that she passed on. Dr. Adadevoh was a Nigerian physician who was credited for having curbed a wider spread of the Ebola virus in Nigeria by placing the patient Patrick Sawyer in quarantine. May her soul continue to rest in peace. You know, when people say that, where were you when 9/11 happened? Where were you when that happened? Where were you when Ebola happened? Moment. We were there when this whole thing happened. You know, and we remember the story where she insisted that that man would not leave that room. You know, she was very, very persistent, and obviously a lot of people today celebrate her for the sacrifice she was willing to make for the general good.
Yeah, and I'm happy that we're keeping the buzz alive concerning this, because most of the time we think that heroism has to be something on a really, really grand. It is just you doing her job. She was doing her job excellently. She had the eye for detail. She knew something was spreading. She saw the symptoms. She wasn't so overwhelmed by work and say, no, you can let... And that's the thing. Celebrating these things might seem like it's little, but it goes a long way, because one person doing their job well can save an entire nation, which is what we experienced with this person.
Something that came to me when we were talking about Dr. Adadevoh was the fact that she knew what was going on out there. The average Nigerian doctor is just wake up in the morning, malaria, typhoid, okay, go and come back next week.
Informed.
So she was informed. She was reading. She had an idea there was a breakout somewhere. She had to, so you know, yesterday we had, was it 2 days ago, we had a doctor, Dr. Bajakudumi. We're talking about aneurysms. He said that if it passes the mind of the doctor to check for aneurysms. So the average Nigerian doctor, would it pass your mind? He passed her mind that, there's something breaking out. This guy is from Liberia. There's something has happened, and we need to ensure that this guy doesn't spread it. So also, our doctors informed, are we informed about our industry, what's going on out there?
Yeah. Happy that she stood for what was right, because I remember that she got a lot of pressure from the Liberian government. They wanted to release that guy for conferences, and she insisted that we can't, for the general good of the country, we can't just release him so that we'll have what has been happening in other countries like Liberia. It's not going to happen here. So, and she stood her ground. It takes someone who's strong to look at the government and look at people at the helm of affairs and say, this is my position and this is it. So she's worthy of
But it's not interesting that we've not really had any way to immortalize her. I mean, we see there was a government that was building statues all over the place. I can't remember which government was that again. Was building statues all over the state. I can't remember the
Rochas.
Governor Rochas.
Late. No, he's a former governor.
Former governor. You know, so we need somebody to actually immortalize her properly.
The truth is,
there were a few members here and there, but we want a proper...
But we're keeping it alive, and the family are doing a good job of keeping the memory alive, and people are talking about it, and as long as we keep talking about it, one government will wake up one day and realize that this is worth celebrating on a grand scale as a role model.
Especially now that we have a new virus here, coronavirus, this is a good time to remember Adadevo. Is a good time to maybe, commission a hospital or something in her name. There's got to be something that shows that, listen, we've been through this somewhat, we have an idea, and we want something more memorable for her. May her soul continue to rest in peace.
And I hope they also remember the people who worked directly with her. There was a particular nurse. I can't remember her name now, who also died.
That's so true. So we need to remember that nurse also, and all the other people who have worked tirelessly to ensure that Nigeria did not get that Ebola virus spread. Okay, we're going to a very, very short break. When we come back, we return with our hot topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. To Your View.
Instagram does.
We're back.
Thanks for staying with us. Right. So we found a story on social media and we thought it was worth discussing. A man found out that his wife of 4 years has been having a secret savings account while all his personal investments have been in their joint account. According to the woman, she wants to be secured if something happened to her, to the man. But the man found out extremely illogical and bad, which leads to divorce. Now, was she selfish or only being financially smart? Join the conversation. You can call us on 070-8066-804. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YoVTV so going to read your tweets. So, let me start with Tokwe. What are your thoughts when this came, when you heard about this story?
Okay, so anybody that knows me knows that I keep. I'm the one that, I'm guilty. I'm the one that would keep this money. I'm the kind of person that would declare 5 naira and still have 2 naira somewhere. And then my husband knows that I always keep. So it's not like I'm hiding. He's aware. So it's not like I lie to him, but he knows that, check very well. You have some money somewhere. So it's not like he's unaware. He knows I'm always want to keep. But in this particular story online, the man and woman, upon marriage, agreed to a joint account. One person was 100% committed to it. Another person was keeping 10% of her income somewhere, according to her, to protect herself. But if she had such insecurity or such feeling, it should have been brought to the fore because that relationship had it like that. Unlike my own case, we don't have a joint account. We have verbal statement of, oh, I earned, I earned. That's the way we run our own finances. So I think that many times we carry baggages from history and what people tell us. So my mom has said, don't be open with your finances. Oh, my auntie was open with her finances with her spouse and she suffered. Oh, history shows that women who put all their 100% on ground lose out. You build your house. No, Mariah, you build your house with your spouse. You put in your money was 30 million. Your spouse brought in 70 million. The house is in his name. The man dies and everything goes to. So because we are carrying the baggages of history of unfairness towards women, the women come into marriage scared and trying to protect themselves. Most of the time, this doesn't work well.
What you call baggage, some people say is wisdom.
Yeah.
So that's what your mother tells you. Many women, I don't know, I can't speak for all mothers, but many women had that talk.
Yeah.
When you're getting to marry, auntie, it's here. How many years do you have?
Yes,
it's here. How many years do you have?
Be wise.
Yes, so you're all lovey-dovey. Yes, you're lovey-dovey.
Be wise, though.
Keep it in the corner. The one for you.
Because the truth is that is life. Life happens to people.
But that's not life.
But you see, in these modern times, where do you draw the line between keeping something on the side and being dishonest? You know, the issue of not being truthful, because today we have this marriage where we are open with each other. There are no secrets. In our parents' time, everybody was in there. My father was a polygamist. Every wife, do your thing. My mother, the house my mother lives in, I know she doesn't like talking about, but the house she lived in, she built it with her own sweat. Money she was keeping aside. In fact, she was making money, keeping it somewhere. It was my father's family member, who is like an older person, that I called like, auntie, this money I'm keeping, please give me the money, let me start building for you. That one I helped her to start putting the foundation, started building the house for her. You cannot be just any money and not use your sense. It's that same house my father stayed on till he passed on. So the point is that there's good and there's bad. But in us preaching, let us be true to each other, let us be open to each other in modern times, does that still hold water, BC?
For me, I would like to go to how you decided to start the relationship. So what were the sort of conversations you had? How did you plan to share money? I realized that a lot of married couples, they don't start out discussing money. They discuss every other thing, but they leave that money issue. And it's one of the things that would have caused a major problem in my marriage when I just started. It was money issues, because I was used to having to hide something, because I felt I needed to secure myself. I had seen so many people around me who something happened, their husband left them, or their husband died or something, or their husband lost their job, and they didn't have anything to fall back on. And people would look at you and like, you're a woman, so you were eating with your 2 hands. You don't have small checkless savings somewhere. There's no color under your bed. It was embarrassing. So in a way to, try and like secure yourself or protect yourself, there was this tendency to always keep something. And my husband kept telling me, you don't need to keep anything. We are open and we're still fighting the battle till today. But I wouldn't also say that is the fault of the women. The society itself has been against, let me use the word against, women, so to speak. It's a patriarchal society. Anything happens, you're the one that they send out of the house with your bags, if you even have an opportunity to take your bag. So people now look, how else can I protect myself, no matter how little it is, that I have something, somewhere that if anything happens, I can fall back on, as against starting from the scratch. And because even the family members would abandon you when they send you out of the house. That's the truth. So you need to think, you need to think for yourself. But when you have a now, okay, before I say that, there's also the part of the men who are not good with planning. Right. So you expose everything you have and they lavish it. So, and you're raising children, you need to pay school fees, you need to pay for bills, you need to secure your future. Are you now going to expose everything to a man who will take it, go outside and spend it?
So I guess it now depends on the kind of person you're married to.
You're married to.
Now let's talk about the man, because really every man should understand that our society has brought up women to be careful. Because we've seen many aunties, mothers, and older grandmothers that have been burnt by being honest and being open. So if a man in this situation that hears his wife is doing this, as long as when you find out and she tells you in all honesty, I'm sorry, this is what happened, I just wanted to protect myself, you should listen to what she's not saying and listen to the wealth of history that has been passed into our DNA, where everybody around you is saying, we tie it 5 times into our wrapper. So there is we hide it everywhere, because when the child is hungry, she doesn't cry to the father. That baby cries to, Mommy, I'm hungry. Right. So it is not the mom, it's the mother that carries the brunt of, there's no food at home. What are we going to do? So because of that, the men should be more understanding of when a woman does this. And
so when you find out, don't think it's betrayal.
It's not betrayal. It is protection. It is so into our brain that when a woman doesn't have, a woman can know that my husband is rich, and when she doesn't have that small aside, she'll be broken.
I'm telling you.
So the man has money, but she does not have aside. She's broken that.
So let me now ask the $1 million question.
Okay.
You women that are talking, do you have something on the side?
Why are you playing YK's role on this?
Like, the question,
YK, come and carry your daughter.
Let me see my own face. Because if I'm asking that question, let me go in. The truth is that it's important to have...
You know your husband is watching.
You're your own.
Before you go and confess.
He's not watching today.
They will tell you.
He's not around. They won't tell. Those people that tell him, they don't tell him anymore.
They have started telling my own husband.
Oh, really? I don't know. They don't tell him anymore. He doesn't watch it. But the point is that we all have to have something on the side. It's important, not because you don't trust, But as you said, rightly said, it's a patriarchal society. A woman must always have something to fall back on. But you see, I think we can draw a line. There's something like keeping aside. There's another one as you are going to go and buy property that your spouse is not aware of. You are trying to, you want that money to work for you because you've been keeping it aside. But the moment you're not thinking of doing something bigger with that money, I think it's important you let your partner know. Depending on the husband. But my mother didn't let my father know, unfortunately. It was when thieves came to our house in Lizomi, and they were screaming, hey, where are you going to go? I was like, hey, my father was like, huh? Yes, in Bagada. You know, so it was that house we all moved to. Wow. But the point is that you can't do that now.
You shouldn't
do that now. It is wrong. Then maybe. But now you cannot have that kind of a project without carrying your husband along.
There's no blanket. If you are in a polygamous relationship now, you can still do what you can to protect yourself. Yes. Because at the end of the day, you don't own anything. In a polygamous relationship, you are at risk of anything happening. Okay, so for me personally, I used to keep aside. I got into marriage with that advice. My mom sat me down, told me, don't have a secret account. Ensure that you have your side hustle has side hustle. So your secret savings account has another secret savings account. As in, so I had series of, you know, pocket like that. And upon marriage, I saw how open my husband was with me. Yeah. So I realized that, what are you hiding?
What are you hiding?
You know, like, if he has it, you have access to it. So there's no need. So, but I understood that I was more financially prudent and I was more wise when it comes to investment than him. So I took the decision to continue saving aside, but he's aware of it. He doesn't have access to it. So he knows I have money. He knows when I do investments, he knows what I'm doing. But he doesn't have access to it.
I think that's the same.
Some people will collect it from you.
That's the same thing I have. My husband knows about it. He knows. But he doesn't even ask me how much is there, what's in balance. He doesn't care. But he doesn't have access.
You people okay, take your call.
Let me take it. Open now.
Talk about the real people.
Open now. Thanks for calling. Are you there? Obina, I hope we didn't lose that call. Obina, are you there? Oh, he's not there anymore. Go ahead.
There are men that will know that you have something until they finish it, they won't let it be.
True.
So if you're married to that kind of man, what do? It has to do with the kind of person you're dealing with.
Yeah.
So me, when I started my relationship, I came with the hide. And my husband wasn't finding it funny because he made all his books open. In fact, I have access to his own money. He used to tell me, I'm working, you are chopping. It's me that has the access. And then he tells me, why are you? And he didn't understand. I will explain that it's good for a woman. You can't give me feeding allowance. I will eat everything. Am I a fool?
Yeah.
Even if you are a fool, you share chicken for the whole village. You will not keep the leg for yourself. I should keep something for tomorrow. And he didn't find it funny till one day. He was very broke in the house. And he needed money to do something. I just kept quiet. He was like, hey, there's no money. He was under pressure. I now said, okay, my son, bring that our kolo. Because my kids, no, I don't hide it. Bring kolo. We opened kolo and we brought out. He counted the money. Was like, wow. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of. I say, you see why I have to do all this small. It's not because I don't trust you or that I don't believe that you are giving me everything. It's because I feel sometimes I wouldn't want you to go outside to borrow when you have a wife like me. Right. I should be able to reach in and say, don't worry. So I can give you that 2M. You pay me later. And I always collect my money back. You understand? So it depends on who you're working with. Right. I think we should just work with what we have. Yes. And when it happens, try and understand why, the motive behind the action. Is it that she's hiding the money to give to her relatives or pay for one boyfriend or find out the motive behind that action before.
Okay, let me take this call from Obina. Obina, are you there? Hello, Obina, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please. You're live.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone there.
Good morning.
Yeah. Oh, first of all, I just want to thank you for the memory you just brought to the brain of all the Nigerians concerning the doctor that I just mentioned this morning. Yes. Because she is a great leader. Those are the kind of people we want in our government.
Right.
Not all the tally that are eating our money. Because she put her life down for millions of Nigerians just for her to save everybody in Nigeria. And to the topic that you people are discussing this morning, I think that woman should have fought, because I believe that both the woman and both of them, the husband and the wife, they both have an agreement to open a joint account. So she has no right to now go
an agreement
under her husband to go open a secret account.
Yes, okay. That's a good angle.
Yeah.
Because they had a conversation. There's some people that they don't start with the conversation on it, and you just have something on the side.
Yes.
So we can. So I think there are a few things that we're accepting here. If you do have that conversation with your spouse, then be honest about it and stay to terms with the agreement you and your spouse have agreed on. That's one. Secondly, if you find that your wife or your spouse is hiding, don't take it as betrayal. Take it as understand where they're coming from. Now, if there's a need for it now, but if now as a man, you now find that your wife is keeping money aside, do you tell her to stop because you want her to trust her and say, I trust you, and say, listen, you don't need to do that because I've opened up my own books to you? Or would you see the advantage that just in case something happens,
yes, I have something to fall back on.
Plan.
I think that people should see it as an advantage that there's something for you to fall back on. But let's talk about the real issues. There are people who live, you know, there are cases, we hear the stories, it's not very common, but they exist, where a woman will own the house and will make the husband pay rent in the house that she owns. You see, let's talk about the wicked ones, the ones that will have money and they will watch their husband grovel and go from house to house borrowing, and they will keep quiet and say, it's your responsibility to pay the house rent. Even though I have money, I will not tell you I have money. Those are the wicked ones. So there's wickedness. There is saving for the future. That when he says, I don't have money, you say, okay, my darling, I have something to help you with. There's the one that will be watching you and be like, it's your responsibility. And you know, so that wickedness is what we must speak against totally on both sides of the fence.
Fantastic. Yakub, thanks for calling.
Yeah, Mariah,
Yakub, you have to tell us how you get through, because people will start thinking that especially
dedicated a line to you.
So please.
Mariah, there's no any magic to that. It's just opportunity to keep trying. And then, although if you have a passion for a program, you would like to call every day. That's just it. Right. So having said that, Mariah, I give kudos to you and then your colleagues in the studio for remembering Adadevo. Although during that COVID-19 era now, we are seeing to it, I was looking to Lagos state government to start naming isolation 1 Adadevo, isolation 2 Adadevo, because the woman is our hero of our time. I didn't think that she was not informed enough, as you rightly said earlier. What do you think it will happen to us that time? It could have been a disaster. Exactly. So God Almighty Allah will make Adadevo so rest in perfect peace. That is it. But come to this topic, Morayo. For me, I think woman is good management in terms of money.
Not all of them.
I don't even want my wife to even let me know that she has a secret account. Because what I believe is this. Whatever she has, she still belongs to me. Because a good woman, not the one that Mama Beji First rightly says now, the wicked one. I'm not talking about those ones. A good woman will never look her husband suffer because he needs money. If a woman has money, just like the lady in the middle, he will never keep money and then she has the money and then looking at the husband suffering for looking at money. She will later bring it out. Yes. Because all this money that you people keep, you are still keeping it for us. One way or the other, you are keeping it for us, because if you have that money, we can laugh at it. We can spend it anyhow. But if you have a secret account, for maybe occasionally, if the children need something, before I even came back, you will settle it. You will not later tell me I've spent.
Thank you very much, Yakub. I know of a family that the wife kept money. I think she had about, she was telling me 2.7 something like that million. She was saving it for her children. She had this savings, they call this funds that just save.
Edu funds.
Edu funds, thank you. So her husband found out about it and told her that he understood why she would do it. But he wanted her to, I asked her to close that account, withdraw the money, because they need that money to invest in a business.
Ew.
Now, there are two rights. He needed, because he believed that this is business that he's about to do.
Will make more.
Will make more money that he can now use that money to pay the children's school fees. So it's a legitimate reason that, listen, you can't have 2.7 million naira.
And I'm looking for money.
And I'm looking for money. So in that kind of situation, what does a woman do?
Okay, so
you will withdraw it, Nia, and give to your husband.
No.
No, hold on. You
No.
see, hold on.
Okay, I'll let you take that question after this break.
Okay.
Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So,
I wanted to respond.
Yeah.
So this particular man now says, okay, instead of keeping these funds for the children, there's this business I want to do, which I believe will make more money. And I know that in my heart, I really do not want to give out that money. What I can do is to present options. Is there no way else we can get?
he has tried every other way.
That time it's not working. For me, I believe that when it comes to final decisions, the man has the final say in the home. I was okay, since you have agreed that you are going to make more money, I hope that you make that more money. I'm going to release that money to him. I'm not going to go back and start frowning or start feeling.
Okay, so you make a fuss over it.
I'll just give it to him.
Okay.
But the but there is, next time, you may not know that there's one fund. If this is going to happen and you always tell me,
the next one you keep it as a
I'll
secret.
just keep it as a secret.
That's deception too.
So for me, I think that the money decision in the house is not only made by men, it is made by the most financially wise person in the family.
Okay.
Some men don't have the financial wisdom. It's not that they are not wise, it's not that they're not men. They are good men, they are wonderful men, but they don't have, they're not financially intelligent enough to make decisions for the future of the family. If the woman has that financial intelligence, the woman should be allowed gladly by the man to make the decision. I fought for this right in my own household. I make decisions concerning monetary investments. My husband consults me because he knows I have studied extensively concerning monetary investments. What I would advise is that everybody in each household must have a financially wise person handle money issues. So yes, some business, regardless of the gender.
Yes.
So now, if this case comes up, my advice, if the woman was wise, would be bring out the money. Every business has risk. The safest place to keep money is the bank. Profit is not much, but your money is safe. When you put in all that money into any venture, you've put all your eggs in one basket, the money can go.
Right.
So I have him understand that we have 2.7 million naira. Your business needs 3 million or 5 million naira. Imagine you don't have that 2.7. Imagine you have 1.7. Let's keep 1 million naira in a safe investment, and you take 1.7 in it. No, you see, marriage doesn't happen by, we don't insist. It's not a show of power. It's a show of wisdom. And as long as marriages, couples struggle in terms of power play, we will not get the best out of marriages. And yes, some men feel it's an ego thing. I need this thing, help me. But what if I did not have it?
That's a reasonable man.
That's a reasonable,
in a reasonable
nice
relationship.
Picture perfect situation.
A man who insists.
But if a man insists, you give. I'm not a supporter in dividing homes. I'm a believer in.
So if your husband is insisting, just
if he insists, you give it up and count it as a loss. That if he comes, and pray that he comes back.
As a prophet.
So yes, because at the end of the day, many people carry this burden. They give up for their husband, and they give up, or the husband gives up for the wife, and the business goes down, and they will remind the husband forever, or remind the wife forever. I invested my own.
So what BC said is that, but you see, the problem is that when you give it all up, and
don't
God
be
forbid
bitter.
it sinks.
Don't be bitter about it.
Now the problem is, if it sinks, the next one you save, you will not tell him.
My own opinion is you tell him, but you will not be bitter, but you let it go, because
you
it
tell
can
him,
happen.
and tomorrow he demands another one.
What I'm saying is that if you give it all up, and that money sinks, the point I'm trying to make is that the next savings you make,
are you going to tell him?
Now that is further deception, because now he doesn't even know there's another savings account somewhere else. So so the problem is that how do you now ensure that you're not lying to your spouse?
So let me give you a scenario. I have a relative. I don't want to mention how we are related, whose husband was not financially prudent at all. He's the one that, in fact, he will dupe his wife. The wife was building and doing business. She will go to work. She works 9 to 5. She's saving. She doesn't dress well. She doesn't do anything. Everything just for us to be able to build this house, just for us to be able to save for the children's school fees and all of that. Even the husband will dupe the money you're supposed to use to buy block for building. He will add 50% on top. His own wife,
Jesus Christ,
and all of that. And she keeps giving and giving and giving. A house that would have taken them just a few years to complete, they are still living in almost an uncompleted building because this man keeps duping and duping. And we have told her You don't have sense. This is not the kind of man that you bring out every... See, you need to understand who you're dealing with. There are some people that are just sent to be evil to you.
Let me put it this way.
It's not about relationship now.
Let me put it this way. Let me help this case. Let me define it quickly.
Please define it.
Secretiveness, being secretive, keeping a secret from a wicked person is not bad.
Hey, Tokwe. Let's
It is wisdom.
It's wisdom.
Keeping a secret from a wicked person is wisdom.
Okay.
So you will be foolish to know this person is a wicked person, and you will say, I'm being honest. No, you have already married a wicked person.
Okay, so
if the person is wicked,
so you must
keeping a secret
that your husband is wicked.
Or your wife
because we need
is
to
wicked.
resolve this. Some people are in this quagmire.
Yes.
We need to help them. If you are keeping a secret from a wicked person, it's wisdom. You can now spend all the extra time to pray for the person not to change.
Wickedness is ambiguous. How do you define wickedness?
Wickedness is a man.
He's a man that is wicked, but to the man, he's being responsible.
No, that's not being... See, a man who does not put the good of the family first
is a wicked man.
He's a wicked man. A man who puts his own selfish needs first. He wants that instant gratification. I cannot drink the gari for us to achieve this. I want to wear the cloth. He's a wicked man. Because two of you are supposed to come together to work for the common good of the family. So if one person is sabotaging, it's not like it's small, he's sabotaging your plan. He's a wicked man. You will be a fool to expose everything and keep giving it to him.
Which woman would accept that her husband is a wicked man?
Don't accept. Say it to your mind.
That person is a foolish woman.
No.
Let's call it what it is. Let's call it what it is.
You fell in love with a man. He's having challenges.
No, not challenges.
He's having personal challenges. A man goes through that phase.
I agree.
Where there are issues he has. So he's making bad decisions based on his circumstances, not because he's a bad person. So you as a woman will not accept that my husband is a bad or wicked man.
So you say my husband is in a wicked phase, and I don't want to go through a foolish phase with him. I don't want to be foolish while my husband is going through a wicked phase. And if a man is insisting on his ego, it's also wickedness. When you
wrap up on this topic, but as we wrap up, what's your final comment?
Can I make a quick distinction? So there's a difference between I'm going through a hard phase, I'm making bad business decisions, I'm losing money, or that I don't even care about how you fare. Find it, fix it. I'm just here to largesse. There's a difference between that two.
So make that distinction.
Make that distinction.
Okay, unfortunately, we have to wrap up on that. We didn't take any tweets, so there will be plenty of tweets on this matter. Please.
They are yabbing me. The tweets are yabbing my nose ring and my head this morning.
I don't tell you when they go have your nose ring.
I'm ready for them.
Don't carry your nose ring. Okay, that's all we can take on this. When we come back, we're moving on to a whole different topic. Are you sure we don't have any tweets on this? We have to run.
Okay,
my husband doesn't ask me for money. That's from Vincent. If I notice he needs something, I use my kept money to do it. I'm not hiding money. It's for the family. He knows I will never leave him stranded when the chips are down. I repeat, women, keep money aside. Don't chop with all your fingers.
Mr. Adebayo says it's financial naivety when you keep money in the bank instead of investing the money to preserve and add more value to the savings you have. Money left alone without any use may well be a waste at the end of the day if not carefully managed. Bilikis Mafe says, if I have an undisclosed account, it's not because I'm being secretive, it's because of eventualities, and I will gladly remit it to my husband if he needs me to. It's sad that couples are not practicing full disclosure. Trust should be the bedrock of any marriage.
Okay, on that note, we close that segment. When we come back, we talk about a whole different topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will view.
Thanks for staying with us. So another story caught our attention. A man sexually harassed his wife's 2 female cousins who were staying with them. The wife later got to know about the whole thing, and she reported him to her family members. And this led to the family now asked him to apologize publicly, which he's not ready to do. The woman is now asking for advice, whether to forgive her husband or move on to divorce him. Where is the place of forgiveness and restitution after infidelity in marriage? That's the question. Please join the conversation on 0708066814. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourVTVC so we can read your tweets. So we saw this story and it was interesting because the woman was asking for advice. So her husband had molested 2 of her cousins that were staying with them. And she discussed with her own family members. They said, what? They now asked him. In fact, they told her to separate. I think it was even to leave him at the time. but she begged them that, no, don't take it that far, oh, please. She was willing to forgive her husband, but she wanted him to go and apologize publicly as they demanded. But he said, no, the only person he owes an apology to is the parents of the cousins. And he will do that verbally via phone. But he doesn't need to go and see it like that. Why would she go and tell the whole family, embarrassing and disgracing him like that? That this is a family matter, they should have resolved it internally. So in your view, do you think it was right for her to involve the family, or was it something that they should have actually resolved as a nuclear family?
So for me, a crime was committed by molesting or harassing young children who are not of the age of consent. And this is not about relationship. Now, this is not about the marriage sanctity now that you're trying to protect, because he had already broken it by going after little children who came to stay with you. Now, I would want you to ask yourself the honest question. If those children were yours, if he had molested his own children, would you be saying that you have forgiven? Because these children have emotions. These children are growing up. Something has been damaged in their hearts already. And it's going to take a very long time of therapy. We have a lot of people who are suffering from their childhood today. It's affecting their relationship. It's affecting everything that they are doing because they were molested as children. Now, are you even thinking about it as a woman that you are, that these young girls who came under your custody were molested by your husband? For me, is a crime and should be handled as such. One. Secondly, you see this marriage you are fighting to keep because you don't want to leave so that your children will not be, will not come from a broken home. Your children will be all right. Your children will be all right. Most people came from broken homes. It doesn't affect anything about their life. It's even better that the home is broken and the children are sane than the children see. What makes you think that those kids did not suspect what their daddy was doing to those other people?
Now,
have you ever thought about it in that way?
The story didn't specifically tell us the age of this cousin, but we are assuming they're younger people. But either way, they were under your custody. So either they were teenagers, a little older. We're not sure exactly the age. So we can. So they're different. They could be children. And that's what you've addressed.
Yeah.
There could be some young adults who maybe have
something to be touched now.
Well, but the point is that in this situation where family is involved, and that's the question, should she have involved the larger family, or should they have resolved it amicably? Okay,
so we live in a very, very we live in a society that sort of has extended family influence. We don't marry, a man and woman don't just wake up and walk to the courts and say, the two of us want to get married. In most cases, before you get married in the court, they will ask for witnesses, preferably family members.
Yes.
Then from church setting and religious households, they'll tell you your families must agree to your marriage. Traditionally, the entire family on both sides come together to marry. You don't marry an individual, you marry the family. When issues happen in the household, when you are confounded with the inability to resolve the issue, you must talk to respected family members to help you out. Before they now find out later and things have gotten out of hand. So that's on one end. Involve family. I believe in involving family. It helps to give accountability for both parties. That's on one side. Number two, when you realize that, especially when the person that was molested was a family member, and what if that girl went to tell her family, this is what they did to me? Then you did not involve family. That's really all shades. The man has no rights. The man has no say in that situation to say don't involve family.
Should she have forgiven the husband?
Now, when it comes to forgiveness, I am a believer in forgiveness. There is no sin God did not forgive us. We can forgive anything. Okay. However, there must be repentance. There must be clear repentance, admission of guilt and repentance.
How do you repent when you molest somebody?
No, you repent. I'm very, very sorry for what I did. Right. You apologize to the child. You humble yourself by every level. You have no right to be feeling pride or ego when you do such a thing. So you put your pride and ego aside and completely repent of your sins. That is when I can be assured that if I forgive you, you will not go back to it. So this man, from the language we heard from the story, hasn't repented, so he doesn't deserve to be forgiven. That is my own personal opinion.
Now, we're having this conversation because he allegedly molested cousins. What if they were neighbors? People you didn't even know, that you don't have any family to call. They'll take you straight to the police and you're in jail automatically. But because it's family, and that's where the cookie crumbles, because now, because it's family, we now discuss and we negotiate, and you can now choose, I don't want to see family, let me just apologize to the parents. So my point...
What are you even saying? What will even make that kind of statement? Like, for me...
the pride of the
yes.
ego.
So at the end of the day, that doesn't show humility or repentance. That means that another person will fall prey to the same situation.
Exactly.
So what are you preserving? Is a good man. What is a good man? Because she said he's a good man. Yeah. What do we define a good man?
She has defined it. He's a Sunday school teacher. He does. He's a pastor in church. They do. I mean, he pays worship. He pays the bills. Well, so you think it's a financial issue?
So how do we define a good man? Is the legacy he is leaving for your children. So you have a male child who you think is not observing what he's doing, but that child would grow up molesting other people. What is a good man? Is it the outward display, or what he does in the secret, or his inability to own up to his weaknesses? So if he's indeed a man of God, that is a good man, he would own up to the weakness, cry out to God.
Back to what BC said about keeping this thing called marriage, because at the crux of this is the fact that women don't pursue these kind of things because they want to preserve that sanctity of, I don't want to be a divorcee at this young age. I don't want to have broken marriage at this age. I want my children to have that mother-father figure growing up. So he's now bringing that conversation to where does a woman draw the line between
I support
crime?
forgiveness.
So you support
everything can be forgiven.
So in this situation,
I stand on forgiveness.
You can forgive this man.
I can forgive
everything. Will you take him back?
Yes. I can forgive and even take back. But the condition is, are you fully repented? Are you willing? Because you see, at the end of the day, everybody can change, Mariah. Nobody is born perfect. You can be broken and you can mend. I am not the same person I was 5 years ago. You can become what you desire to become. Are you willing to break down and be molded back again? That man isn't willing to break. Breaking down, you must break down, Mariah. If you want to be remolded,
but there's some things that you can't forgive.
Yes, exactly. So for me, it's a deal breaker. Like if it was an adult you had this with, things can happen, mistakes can happen and all of that. But for you to get to a level where you see a child or a family member, that's a deal breaker for me. So I would forgive you does not necessarily mean I would be in that relationship. Yes, and one of the things I realized is a lot of people don't speak out when these things happen to their family because of all of this sentiment. So a child was molested and then families are begging, forgive, don't, hey, don't make noise, or they will say our family, we are bad people. They will say this and say that. This enforces and gives more power to the perpetrators, and they continue doing this act. Let me tell you, in the next 5 years, you will hear the same person complain about something else like this with somebody else if it's not handled properly. So I think we should take sentiments aside. There are other things you could have done outside. You could have gone to, there are people who are collecting money to service. They will do you very well. You don't need to harass little children or people who are living with you or family members. So for me, it's a deal breaker. And I would forgive you, but in this one, no.
Another thing I think that is also important, because when, as you said, mistakes do happen. When somebody does this kind of thing, part of the healing process is to see a counselor. To ensure that this thing doesn't come again. Because if you just say, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, and you move on. Unfortunately, it's almost as though you're not only dealing with the surface.
Part of the healing is to feel the shame.
Yes.
You have done a shameful thing. Feel the shame.
Collect it.
Feel the shame. Kneel down, apologize, prostrate, beg, cry. Let them embarrass you. Those are the things that help you break down completely and can help you remold into being a better man. That man is broken. And unless he is willing to acknowledge it and let it break him better, then he cannot be remolded. And you cannot be married successfully to a broken man. You cannot build a good marriage.
But it's not about crying and wailing. There's some people that will cry and wail. Hey,
yes,
forgive me.
Course.
And they'll say, trust me, we need
and there are
two
cases. This is already 2 times. And I'm also as much as I believe in forgiveness, like Bisi said, I believe in walking away and preserving yourself. You have value.
So
you have value.
A woman you can't forgive incest. I don't know how you forgive.
People
so there's some things.
Deal breakers.
Can you forgive?
You can forgive incest, but you move away. You protect. You are forgiving you because of course I'll give you the forgiveness, but I'll take my life and my family away.
We've read newspaper stories here where it's even their own children that the man harasses and molests like this, and the women cover it up. We have stories like that.
In the name of saving a marriage.
Yes, because I don't want to leave that marriage and all. I think we should just open our eyes.
Let me take this. Somebody sent a message, said, good morning, sis. I will forgive him for my own sake. And as God has directed, I will request he goes through mental evaluation and rehabilitation. He should apologize publicly. There is no reason to hush. she should report to the police since it's a crime. Now, you're saying two things. If you forgive him, would you report your husband? There's always that issue that this is my husband, though. Will I now report? At the end of the day, after you've forgiven him and he's broken, as you've said, how do you now say you are remarrying or you are coming back with a convicted felon? You know, this is somebody that has been convicted, that has gone to jail. That's why would he take you back?
You don't go to court and come back to the same household. That's a Yoruba proverb. We don't take a matter to court and come back and be smiling together. So usually when you take it legal, the marriage is over. However, I have a friend whose husband was beating her up, and it was a major one, and she separated, she moved out, and the man apologized over and over again. She came back together. It happened again. Yeah. She moved out again, and then he came back to the house, came back to the family, they did a family meeting and apologized, and they're back together. At the point when they came back the second time, I put my mouth out of that marriage. Because what I realized was that, because everybody kept saying, try to keep the marriage together, and my own worry was, at a point in that marriage, she was beaten while pregnant in front of her child. So, in the name of keeping marriage, what will we take? We must define, it's about self-respect. Know your deal breakers. You must have self-respect. I'm worth more. There's some things I will not take. I will not take it. I value myself more than this. And I have my value so much that I believe in myself that I will not let you embarrass me or water me down like this, because at the end of the day, when you keep on taking it, your identity is watered down. You begin to think you are not worth more than this, but you are as a woman.
Thank you for that, Tokwe. Let me take this call from Ikotu. Thanks for calling. Go ahead. Are you there?
Hello, I'm here.
Morning. Go ahead, please. You're live.
Good morning. I'm Nkiru.
Good morning.
Hi, Nkiru.
And I'm one of the victims of this topic you're talking about.
Okay. Wow. Go ahead. You're live.
Victim of this topic you're talking about.
We can hear you. Reduce the TV. We'll start the same timing, please.
Good morning. Good morning.
We can hear you.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show, Nkiru.
Hi, Tokwe. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Oh, please, I'm one of the victims of this topic you're talking about.
Yes, we heard you.
And it's the issue on ground.
Yes.
I left my marriage a year ago based on this incest issue.
Wow.
And from the look of things, he's coming back to beg. And my mommy is considering him. I told my mom I can't go back to that marriage again. Because it's something I've forgiven him, but it can't go off my memory. And I'm scared of my daughter. And the funniest part of the issue is not just one person, it's not two persons, different cousins of his. And this is not even my cousin, his own cousin. His own cousins. And even from the look of things, my mom is trying to give him. I told my mom, it's not easy. I've forgiven him, but it can't go off my memory. So I told him to sort himself out, and I'm still thinking about it. So it's something that
thank you very much, Nkiru. So Nkiru is still thinking about it. I'm not in your shoes, Nkiru. Honestly, I don't understand.
Morayo, we need to be able to differentiate what is a crime and what is normal misbehavior. So if you can, yes, if you can make that distinction, if it is a crime, it should be reported. It should be faced as a crime. We should handle whatever comes out of it, it comes out of it. If you wake up tomorrow and realize that your husband is a cultist who kills people, will you stay in that marriage and say, for the sanctity of marriage? You will run because you are afraid that one day they will use your head. So let's take this issue like that. You wake up and you see this kind of molestation going on. You should think, if you can stoop this low and do this to a family member, my own daughter might be the next. And you should run for your dear life. So let us differentiate what is a crime and what is normal.
How do we restitute? Let's talk about restitution. So, because people keep saying, oh, yes, it was a mistake. It was a mistake. It was a devil. You know, that it just happened. It was more auntie from the village that has been sending these things to us. You know, they make all sorts of claims. Now, how do you then reconcile that with knowing that you are being a woman and you're trying to also understand, be compassionate where this person is coming from? Because the woman who says she has forgiven her husband, there's a reason for it. It could be financial. There are issues where women know that they have nothing. Sometimes it could be what was
emotional. Like I want my sanity, and I need to let you go to have my sanity. Where I stand, which I mentioned earlier, was that yes, you can forgive, but that there must be So this is twice, but she didn't find out on the second time. You might forgive and give the person another opportunity if the person shows true remorse and there's repentance. However, like the story of the person I shared, who beat the first time, you broke up, you came back, beat you the second time, then you now come back. That for me is, I don't know, I don't want to call it what it is, but you know, really. So if you forgive and you give restitution, doesn't mean you forget, you observe. If you cite anything like that,
says she's thinking about it. I want us to talk to Nkiru.
Wait, for
we
me,
have to wrap up very
restitution is about the ability to pay the penance for what you have done. So is he going to pay for what he has done? Is he going to face the shame for what he has done? Is he going to lose the marriage for what is he willing to pay the price for what he has done? Is he willing to face the consequences? That's what we should be looking at. That is where restitution comes. He could have, been reported and then he's arrested and he goes to jail for a few months or a few years and comes back. That is when he has paid the restitution. Then you can now say,
traditionally, they'll say you've done an abomination. You will walk around the village
naked
and you will say you've carried an abomination. Then they will bring you back, they will slaughter something, and they will cleanse you. Like there's a way you will bear the shame.
Yes,
in a way that will remind you never to try it again until you can do something that, and he wasn't willing to do it. So for the person that sent this story, the person that sent the message, if he's unwilling to carry out that, bear the shame, he's not willing to, he hasn't earned your forgiveness.
We are saying the same thing to Nkiru, as that man who committed incest. I don't know how you forgive man that did incest, but either way,
with different people.
How does he show that he's broken? Is it until he goes around the village? I'm just using that.
Okay, for me, for Nkiru's case, there is incest involved. My own opinion is that you separate your family from that kind of person.
Please move on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just let God help
and
the
our
person.
mummies that are putting us under pressure
please
to go back.
Stop it. Please, mommy, stop it.
We saw how you people were suffering in your own marriage. We didn't like it. We didn't like it. We don't want that.
All right.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take. Tweets, please. Let's take a few tweets. I have to run, but let's take.
Okay, Toby Martin says, how old are the two female cousins? Are they underaged? So many things might be involved. Can forgiveness be restitution, change the state of the victims cause of the stigma?
Okay, let me wrap up because my producer is saying that we might need to bring in an expert to help us on it. So we've only expressed our views.
No, we are
but
experts.
we'll still,
we are two life coaches on
yes, we are two life coaches,
experts.
but at the same time, we also need to hear more views from Nigerians on this topic. So we're likely to extend this topic to next week sometime. We'll let you know. But obviously, we've not concluded this topic. There's so much angle to discuss on
there's
this.
So many
tweets. Talk about taking.
He said the man by such response has not proved her is not proving her wrong. She's not secure by her husband, but the responsibility to prove to her that she has done nothing to worry about. This is the opportunity to do that. It wasn't making sense.
Andrew in StarTimes says, sadly, I think for the woman's sanity, the woman should walk away from the union. When you molest a family member, it must be a deal breaker.
Okay.
The man has no morals or boundaries.
Have a fabulous weekend. We'll see you Monday. Bye for now.